Hi, good morning. It's Michael back with another video today. This one is discussing affirmations. Do they work? We're also going to talk about the shadow self and the pluses and pitfalls of having affirmations. So, as everybody who knows me knows, I have always had a list of affirmations that I've been saying for years. And for years, they have not worked. At least not the way I wanted them to. Now, let me get started. Let me tell you about my affirmation story here. About 3 years ago, my brother's like, Michael, take out a piece of paper. And on this paper, write down all these traits that you like and you admire. And then write them down again and say, I am these traits. And the object and the idea of what he was telling me was to get me to pretty much to write these down, say, I am, say, for instance, positive. And eventually, if I keep saying these, I'll believe them. The problem with that is that you tell yourself that you're positive. You tell yourself these things every day, which I tell myself these things quite often. But the thing of it is, if you don't believe it initially, it's not gonna really work for you. Like when I tell people, I'm positive, I'm this, I'm that, whatever, and then say I go and do something, I have a negative thought, or say I go and do something, have an unhappy thought or a disrespectful thought or an action, whatever. Then you go back to the feedback loophole from hell, where you're like, oh my God, well, I can't be that because I just proved that I'm not. Makes sense? However, and I also feel that when people use affirmations, I feel like they should be using affirmations on things that they know to be true, for one, which is a big thing that people, especially with depression, don't do. Because instead of saying, I am happy, if you have not mastered the art of being whatever happy is to you, or you can't even be proficient in that art, you're not going to believe it. And if you do believe it, it's a lie, and you're hoping that this lie becomes your truth, and that's not being genuine, that's not being authentic, that's not being honest. If you say, instead, I'm working towards happiness, I'm actively choosing to be happy, that's different because you're choosing to pursue this happiness instead of saying, I am this, I am that, if you're not that yet. Furthermore, going into affirmations, what they don't cover and what they fail to take into account is what Carl Jung calls the shadow self and the darker side of things. Yes, you can be positive, however, there's also a negative to you. You can be happy, there's a sadness to you. You can be outgoing, but there's still maybe this not quite as, I don't say wonderful side, but not quite as wonderful darker side to you, or different side or shadow side that you don't see. And the thing with that is people don't express that. People they usually tell people to do affirmations, just focus again, like we go back to yesterday, on the positive. And it's like, no, you are a whole person. You're not just all going to be, you know, respectful, positive, reliable, grateful, hardworking, having integrity, blah, 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 honest, blah, 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 blah. There are moments where you have lied. There's going to be moments where you are going to not be that happy-go-lucky, positive person all the time. And there's going to be times when these affirmations are not going to work for you because you're focusing on half of the equation. So, when it comes to affirmations, what I tell people, and what I tell myself now is, I choose to be happy, or I choose to work towards happiness. I choose to be respectful. That way, for me, it's like, okay, I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I'm choosing this path. And it doesn't set me up for failure doing that. Also, doing shadow self, whatever, again, you have to take into your negative. So my affirmations look a little different than what they look like then now. I can say, I can be negative, but I still love myself. I can be sad, but I'm still lovable as I am. Those are also affirmations. They're not necessarily just I am great things, I am great things. You have to find a way to love you. With the affirmations, pretty much all they do is validate you to you. And so whatever it is you need to say to get that validation going, that's what it needs to be. For me, being accepted and being loved are two things I have a hard time dealing with. And so for me, especially coming with love of self, I have to tell myself I'm lovable as I am, despite the fact that I have things that make me feel like I'm not as good as. We're about to get deep for a second. We're about to get into Michael's personal business for a second. For me, personally, I find it hard to be considered likable or lovable because I'm so short-tempered, because I'm depressed a lot. I can be a handful, I can be difficult, I can be sullen, I can be lonely. I can choose to be lonely, I can isolate myself. I can hold a grudge, from time to time. And for me, those disqualify me from being likable or lovable because they make me a challenge. They make me difficult. And in saying those things, instead of saying all these things about me that are bad, and they again, good or bad is all subjective. I can say, you know what, I can be sullen, but I'm still lovable. Or I can be moody, but I choose to be calm. I can be sad, but I choose to be okay. You know what I mean? You have to balance it out and accept the fact that these things are what you are, but you have a choice in choosing what you choose to express. I can be sad, but I can choose to express joy. I can be happy, and I can choose to express calm. Because you're forgetting, especially with bipolar, people have this manic phase, whatever. So going into that aspect of things, you're going to be either really irritable or really energetic. So it's like I'm really energetic, which can be in this context, is technically speaking, with mania, can be an issue. You can say, but I choose to express calm or mindfulness or tranquility. You know. So I think the problem for me with affirmations are that I think they're mostly ego-driven and self-serving, and they don't get to the heart of the issue. They gloss over the heart of the issue. And so what needs to happen for us, for affirmations to work, again, is to not just focus on the positive, but look at what the other side of that's going to look like, and how you choose to say, hey, you know what? I have all these things. I'm a full picture, but I still am comfortable with just being as I am. So maybe even my approach earlier in the video, because again, these things have to change. Or maybe it's wrong. Maybe we shouldn't say I am these things, I am these things. Maybe it's like, you know what? I can be happy. I can be positive. I can be negative. I can be sad, but I choose to just be. And I accept that I can be, or that I will be. And there it is. However, the case I will make for affirmations that has worked for me is that when I've mastered a skill, or when I have become proficient in a skill, like for instance, me doing this video, people have said that I am brave and that I'm open. And those are two things I told myself I wanted to be. I wanted to be brave and I wanted to be open. I actually wrote them down on this paper not too long ago. Of course, the light's just like killing the writing here. I choose to be brave, open, mostly open, and I choose to be fearless. And this is part of that. So there is, good that comes with it. But overall, I think going back, choosing to be may be a better solution for you. You can be all these things, but again, these are all labels. When you get to that point where we can just be, we're fine. Because again, being does not mean that, we are devoid of anything. That means that we're comfortable and okay with the positive, the negative, whatever kind of label you want to throw out there, whatever. And we're okay with just saying, hey, you know what? I just am. This is what it is. And I'm okay with that. I accept that. So I think with affirmations, positive, negative, in the shadow self aspect of things in the school of thought, what we're going to focus on, or what I'm going to focus on, is being. I don't want to be happy. I just want to be. I don't want to focus on looking for happiness. I want to focus on being, and just being, and being comfortable in myself, and being everything that I am, good, bad, negative, positive, or otherwise. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. That didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, but hey, this is a learning process. This is a growth opportunity. So hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this gets you to think a little bit. Tell me what you think. Holler at me. Bye.